Hi, this is John, and welcome to another edition of Statistics Tell a Story. Week 15 of the NFL is here. And I have just two games today. I'll briefly talk about them. The first one is the Kansas City Chiefs laying 5.5 points to the Chargers. The Chiefs are 6-7. However, they're still one of the better teams in the NFL. I think Pro Football Focus has them as the second best team in the NFL. Looking at advanced metrics, I have them as the fifth best team. They've so making them one of the best 6-7 teams, in recent history. They have played their last five games have been against, let me check this out, the Bills, the Broncos, the Colts, the Cowboys, and the Texans. They're 1-4 in those games. Three of those losses were by 3 points exactly. Other loss was to the Texans by 10 points. They actually uh, it outgained the Texans barely, 4.3 yards per play to 4.1 yards per play. When they beat the Colts, which was their only win, and back when the Colts did have um, Daniel Jones, they out first downed them 33-10. So they were very dominant. They're playing the Chargers. Justin Herbert just had surgery on his left hand. They just won an emotional game on Monday night, so they have short rest against the Eagles. They needed four interceptions plus an additional fumble on one of those interceptions by Jalen Hurts to barely win. So the Chiefs are at home. They still have very remote playoff chances. I think they're going to be extremely focused. They had a couple drops last week by Kelsey and a few others. I think they're going to be focused. The Chargers, they're a decent team, but I think they're going to have an emotional letdown. The Chargers' offensive line is in shambles, and the Chiefs, I believe, are going to soundly beat the Chargers. That's my number one pick. Second pick, Green Bay Packers at Denver. Denver has won 10 in a row. We have a weird situation going on in the NFL. You have two teams that have won 10 games in a row that are at home and are underdogs. And I believe this has actually never happened in the regular season, and it happens twice this season. At least it never happened in the regular season where they had their regular starting quarterback. But anyway, the Broncos, I mentioned them a few weeks ago. They still are on that winning streak, which had caused me to bet on the Commanders a few weeks ago. And so again, I think they're playing a very good Green Bay team. They still have to be emotionally spent. They were able to probably sleepwalk through the Raiders last week. Um, and I just think it's their time to lose. So Green Bay's laying 2.5 points, and I like Green Bay in this game as the second pick. My three other contest picks, which I am not, I have a lean towards, you might say, but I will mention them as I have done with my contest picks. The Eagles are laying 11.5 points. Eagles have lost three in a row. I have found that good teams, and the Eagles are still a good team, that have lost three games in a row are very focused the next game. So they have technical indicators going for them. The Raiders, I don't know what to make of them. They have Kenny Pickett starting. They've underachieved all year. I don't know. I kind of think they're playing out the string. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles win this game by 30 points, but they are laying 11.5 points, and their offense can be conservative. So I'm just calling that a lean. And then the other two games, I like the Ravens laying 2.5 points against the Bengals. The Ravens still, I mean, they're another team, 6-7. Even last week against the Steelers, they they really won the line of scrimmage. They rushed for like 240 yards. I think the Steelers had like 35. So a lot of times that's a little better of an indicator of what's happening up front in the trenches. And I think the Bengals are spent. Joe Burrow, that was kind of on his face in the press conference after they lost a heartbreaker to the Bills, and basically broke their back. And I like the Ravens in this game, and I also like the Bills. The Bills are laying a point and a half to the Patriots. These games are very similar. The only difference is the one reason I'm not on the Bills, but I am on Green Bay in similar situations is I like the Patriot. I like their quarterback better, Drake May, as opposed to Bo Nix of Denver. So, but anyway, those are my three leans, my three other picks in the contest. And thank you for tuning in. And I will see you next week on Statistics Tell a Story. Thank you.